Pro Boxing fans, we are here in Ipswich. It's his fight week. We're 2 days away from the big one. Fabio Wardley, your charge, who, you've been there since day dot with Fabio, and Justis Huni, an opponent who's come in with, I think, 4 weeks' notice. First of all, Mike, how are you? How's things?
Yeah, I'm well. I'm excited. Not long left until fight time. So yeah, it's a very exciting time for us at Platform Sport and SOS Management. So yeah, very excited.
Obviously, I've known you from the days of, Magic Mike and you being involved with Dillian Whyte and everything else, which you still do, but you've very much got a hands-on role with fighters now. Fabio Wardley, man, talk to me about his journey, because it has been, and I think it's been spoken about.
Mike's the man.
Mike's the man.
He's the man.
Franz Frank Warren saying you're the man, that's a big compliment, isn't it?
A massive compliment. Both coming from Islington. Okay. So, the legacy's there, and I'm just trying to be the next generation coming out of Islington and excelling in a positive manner. So I look at these promoters and what they've done for the sport, and I've got nothing but admiration and sort of hunger to try and follow in those big footsteps.
Obviously, I was saying, it was said on the top table there that journey probably won't happen again, where somebody's come from a white collar background and he's number one now for possibly a world title in the next couple of fights. But what have you made of Fabio's career today?
Listen, and I'm glad somebody said that, because I think what people don't see is the fact that Fabio Wardley is an elite level athlete. The difference that with Fabio is he didn't have the opportunities presented to him when he was young to perform in those stages that these amateurs performed on. But in terms of his characteristics of being an athlete, of being a natural born fighter, he has it. He has that gift. But now where he has the ability to show it and has the opportunity to show it. So that's all the difference is for me, is give these kids opportunity and watch what they can do. And this is a prime example of what happens when you give somebody an opportunity.
Do you want to talk about your mate and somebody who was supposed to be on this card in Dillian Whyte? So obviously, look, we kind of know what sort of fight's going to be made, but Lawrence Corey's done an interview today saying Dillian Whyte's running scared of him. He said that on TalkSport today. What do you make of these sort of comments from Lawrence?
I think Lawrence Okoli should worry about Richard Riakporhe. That's a fight that he avoided for whatever reason and hasn't talked about him since. So I think he should focus on Richard Riakporhe and not focus on Dillian Whyte. We're looking for big fights, big entertaining fights. Let's not forget, a couple fights ago, Lawrence wasn't giving us excitement. So we want fights that are going to be exciting for the fans and do well for Dillian's profile. So there's nothing to do with being scared at this stage. From a team standpoint, it's about making the best fights that's going to do well for Dillian's legacy.
Actually, talking about Dillian, I was listening to Simon Jordan, and he had some words to say about Dillian Whyte's career, and he said he doesn't have no character, he had no charisma. Sorry, you've known Dillian all your life. What do you make of these sort of comments from Simon?
I think right now I'm in a positive headspace, and I want to remain in that positive headspace. From somebody that has come from the depths of Brixton, that's come from nothing, and that has had to suffer and work his way to where he is. He's not done bad at all. So if for any young people looking, if having no charisma can get you that far, then I pray that many of you have no charisma.
Fair enough. There's a lot of rumours about Anthony Joshua and the 3-fight deal with Turki Al Sheikh. One of them fights is Dillian Whyte, that's proposed. I know you probably can't give anything away if anything has been spoken about that, but is that something that Dillian's waiting for? I know he's spoken about it, but is that something that he's potentially waiting for in the coming months?
Well, listen, we know when those two, no matter when that fight happens, they sync together. They're a perfect match when it comes to violence. You know, there's clear history there. There's, you know, the fight as an amateur was crazy, let alone their fight as a professional. So we always know what we're going to get with those two. And if that fight comes, then Dillian's not going to say no. He wants these big fights. He wants fights that is going to wake him up and get him excited. And he wants fighters that turn up and deliver exciting fights, and Anthony Joshua is one of those guys.
I was going to ask you, even with both of them being at this late stage of the career, do you feel like it's going to captivate the fans with the history that's gone on? You know, a lot of people are saying, look, Dillian Whyte dropped the ball the last time around. He was supposed to fight him and it didn't happen, and we know the reasons why. But now, do you feel like you're still going to captivate the fans for this one?
Yeah, and I think that's down to the fighters. But again, those that know their history will be captivated. It's a fight that you're always going to watch. You know, it just takes a little spark to reignite the fire. You know, so both of them is going to be filled with no charisma, and are going to be going back and forth. And I think that fight will be massive, and it will sell out stadiums.
Obviously, last time we had the initial press conference, actually, you and Eddie Hearn had a few choice words. Well, you had a few choice words for Eddie Hearn. When if your fighter wins on Saturday night and you believe your fighter will win on Saturday night, you know, what are you going to be saying over to that team across? Nothing.
You know, my point was simple. When you start at the bottom versus when you have a massive step up, you know, it's no comparison. Everybody on that top table works hard. You know, you work hard. We all work hard. But when you've got the silver spoon, it pushes you miles ahead, and that was basically my point. You know, so I think come Saturday night, we're going to be celebrating, we're going to be happy, we're going to be excited, because this is what we knew was going to be happen. So I think it just sets us. I don't think they have many other heavyweights. Otherwise we'll beat some more of those up, but no, we'll just push on and do what we want to do, and that's win world titles.
Final one before I let you go. Eubank Ben put on an absolutely phenomenal historic show a couple of probably a month, 5-6 weeks ago now. Would you want to see that rematch? A lot was talked about Chris Eubank giving his weight and everything else coming up to that fight. For you though, would you want to see that rematch and even try to get one of you guys on there?
Oh, listen, that would be an amazing rematch. Well done to both of them. They put on a fight for the decades. You know, everything that you wanted. You saw boxing in there. You saw, you know, them go to war. You saw a bit of trash talking in there. You saw the raw emotions, and that's what boxing is about. You know, it's not about the fancy. When that bell goes, it's just about the rugged and roughness and who wants it more. And they both showed how much they wanted it. So if they did a rematch, I would be the first one to be watching. If they both agree to it and they're happy to sign whatever contract it is, I'll be more than happy to watch it again. And I'm sure there's 90,000 others that will be happy to watch it.
Yeah, probably a lot more, to be fair. Mike, it's always a pleasure talking to you, mate. Look, listen, good luck with your fight on Saturday. Good luck with yourself and everything you're doing in the future with Dillian and the rest of the crew that you've got on your...
Mike Perez as well. Don't forget, we've got Mike Perez. We've got Thomas Carty. After this fight, you know, we're hoping to get one of the world champions. You know, we'd love to put Mike Perez against Opataya. I believe that would be a crazy fight, an exciting night. So let's see what happens.
Mike, always a pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for your time, and no doubt I'll speak to you soon.